2, 1. Liftoff.
Starship 11 is not coming back. Don't wait for the landing.
Four kilometers altitude. Six kilometers altitude.
Oh, God, it just blew up. It just blew up.
We have run out of places to build roads. If we want to meet
business owners, this is the key to get traffic. So listen up. Madeira development back on the city agenda. And también que íbamos, Elon Musk. It is Wednesday, June 22nd, 7:03 a.m. My name's Frankie Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. Again, everyone's favorite segment, the weather. It seems as if nothing is going to change. There was some expectations of having some sort of scattered showers, but for the most part, we are stuck with the typical South Texas weather. We do have the city of Brownsville looking at 93 degrees. The Cabrera boys in South Padre Island are looking at 84 degrees. Zapata, Star County is in the triple digits. It is going to be hot, of course, in South Texas. We do anticipate for it to be a hazy Thursday, but of course, mainly it is going to be a hot and dry a day. And again, we've been the importance of going out to the beach, catching some rays as much as possible to be able to rookie. Live TV, it happens. We'll be able to go out to the beach, enjoy some sun rays as much as possible. Now, business owners, this is the way to get traffic. And as everyone knows, it is important for us to follow up with the culture. Nowadays, social media and its different platforms are where we get just about every news, whether it's through Good Morning Brownsville to see what the great city deep in South Texas is doing, or we follow certain groups or certain influencers, whether that's makeup, whether that's people trying to show you how to get a certain deal on a certain product. When people doing coupons, there's shows, there's platforms such as Snapchat, Instagram that teaches an individual how to save money. Well, business owners, if you aren't using this product, you are missing out on a lot of traffic. Now, even though Facebook has predominantly been dominating the social media hemisphere, it has been impressive to see how there have been startups that have been booming. And again, it's always important to follow the culture. The youth today kind of dictate marketing, and everyone, just about everyone, is on TikTok. The interesting thing about TikTok is that it is something that has been generating a lot of attention and a lot of traffic these past 2 years. And who could forget? This Chinese company is kind of at odds with the United States because they feel that the Chinese government is ultimately behind TikTok. But nonetheless, you and I all know that everybody, just about everybody, is on social media. Well, now the traffic is used through TikTok. And business owners, again, it is very important for you to get as much traction as possible. And the thing is that we always have to make sure that we're always in tune with the culture. We're always in tune with the youth nowadays. Why? Because at the end of the day, we need eyeballs, we need traction, and we need to get the attention of these potential clients. Now, someone that has been very critical of TikTok as of late was Poppy Musk. You know, he did categorize TikTok as being the worst thing ever for humanity, that is destroying civilization. Now, again, these individuals, they do poke jabs at each other because, of course, they're billionaires and social elites that they have time for this, of course. But business owners, if you're not using TikTok, you need to get on it quick. We have seen a stark rise in usage, and many businesses have been focusing a different category, a different genre, so to speak, of clientele. Now, as we all know, everybody uses Facebook. It is great for businesses to create their own page and to be able to interact with the client on a more personal level. Well, TikTok, what it has shown us is that it is a entertainment platform. It has differentiated itself with Facebook in the sense that with TikTok, you're able to create videos. You're able to create some small segments. I could probably chop up Good Morning Brownsville in 2 or 3 clips, so to speak. But nonetheless, it is very important for business owners, for those individuals, those sharks out there, to always be in tune with the culture and where everything is going. And right now, TikTok is the way to go. If you are a business and are in constant need of having a large demographic area that you are targeting, and it's not just with our youth. Now we see adults, people of all ages who are creating these contents on this social media platform, and we have seen how many individuals, again, of all ages, have been attracted to TikTok. So, business owner, if you are looking for traffic, sharks, if you are wanting to dip into that new upcoming clientele, TikTok is a way to go. Business owners, not only here locally, but throughout the state of Texas, have been using this platform a lot more recently. Why? Because we have seen how many teens and many adults have been creating content through TikTok. So, business owners, my question to you, are you using TikTok? And if you're not, why haven't you already? That, my friend, is the place to gain large attraction, great for marketing. It probably costs you very, very little to create these types of videos, but the return on this small investment is worth the while. Now, we finally got pictures, a few pictures from inside the walls of Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas. And as we are still comprehending and trying to get over this tragedy, we had the Texas Department of Public Safety and its director present their findings and conclusions to the Texas Senate yesterday. And what was brought before the Senate committee was not a beautiful picture. Here we do see the Texas DPS director giving his findings to the committee, and one that he classified as a complete failure. And the interesting thing is presentation, of course. Here we have him standing next to this bulletin board. And one thing that you notice is that he's not in his usual law enforcement attire. And one would think, why is that? Well, because he is trying to present the case where, hey, you know what? This was bad, and we're here to fix things. And maybe we need to take another approach. Instead of using your uniform, I'm here in a business suit, trying to create these solutions for this unfortunate, tragic event. The director did classify this as a failure, and that the police chief, that he decided the lives of the officers who were heavily armed and had protection over these defenseless children. Now, again, it is easy for one to say, oh, I would have done this, I would have done that. Playing Monday morning quarterback is totally different from being under the line of fire in all sense of the word. We can all agree that there was a screw up. Again, the Uvalde school district employed 6 employees, and many have argued and stated, and one of the big questions that the Texas Senate committee members did ask was, who was in charge? Why was there not a transfer of power? That this individual who was in charge, did he have the knowledge, the preparation, the education to be able to command such a very important hostage situation? But nonetheless, we did get images from Uvalde that did show that the officers, that they entered the perimeter inside the school at 12:05. And many inconsistencies have arisen since this tragic event. We heard that they weren't able to breach the door because it was locked, and they were looking for a janitor or an administration that had a key to open this door to be able to get into these kids. Well, yesterday during the testimony, it was learned that the door was open, that these doors in which the shooter was holed up in with these defenseless children, it wasn't able to lock from the inside. Again, it is easy to play Monday morning quarterback, and I respect and love our law enforcement officials. But one thing that the Texas DPS director did blatantly state was that this was a failure. This picture was released yesterday, and it shows heavily armed law enforcement officials, SWAT members, Border Patrol, who were ready to go. Now, the question was, why didn't they? And we keep on hearing that it took them 45 minutes to an hour to get to that room and make contact with the shooter. It all goes back to the chief. The Uvalde ISD chief felt that it was in the best interest of his men to not take action because of their safety. And one thing, and again, a bunch of consistencies that we've been hearing. We heard that they didn't have their shields, that they weren't prepared, that is why they waited for backup. But these pictures are very telling, and the timestamp on these camera stills are very important. Why? Because they teach us and they show us that these law enforcement officials, they were ready to go, that they were prepared, that they did enter the school shortly after chasing the gunman. Unfortunately, the one in charge, the Uvalde ISD police chief, the one who oversaw 6 employees, 6 officers, was ultimately the one that decided that it was not safe for his officers, who at that time had mentioned that they weren't prepared with either tactical gear or assault rifles. How could they compare up to the shooter who had, a high profile, a high automatic rifle? But again, the question goes on to state this was a complete failure, and everything that the law enforcement has been saying, it seems as if they are trying to cover their tracks, and this is very scary because one thing we heard that we weren't able to get to the shooter on time because we didn't have the proper equipment. And again, this individual, Arredondo, is the police chief, the school police chief, that was ultimately the one that gave the order for the men not to breach the classroom. And the interesting thing was that he was just elected for the Uvalde City Council. He won election shortly before the Uvalde massacre, and then he was sworn in after that whole debacle. And now the question going around the city of Uvalde is, do we want this individual to be our representative? Do we see a man who, for lack of better judgment, possibly is at fault for some bloodshed? Why? Because he didn't take it upon himself to act quickly how it took his officers 45 minutes once they were prepared and fully armed to go into this classroom. But he decided that it was not safe. The city of Uvalde right now is mourning, is still mourning. It is said that the school, the Robb Elementary School, will be demolished. Not sure whether they will be making it into a memorial or what the future holds for that place. But one could all agree there were mistakes from beginning to end, and we are not here to make fun of or point fingers at. But the interesting thing is that we have seen from Cameron County and BISD that they did have a quick response. They did set up a town hall. And one important thing that we can all agree that we saw that was lacking from Uvalde was communication. It was said that there was no proper communication between the school district of Uvalde with their SWAT, with their local law enforcement, with their local PD. And one would hope that here within our local agencies, whether that be PI, San Benito, South Padre Island, our Texas DPS officers that are locally work in this area, Border Patrol, ICE, our Sheriff's Department, that we hope that they have that proper dialogue and communication needed to relay important information. But once again, we do applaud BISD, our Sheriff Eric Garza, who did take it upon themselves to have this open forum for parents and employees alike to make sure that, hey, we're on the same page and we need to make safety. We need to make safety a priority moving forward. Now, Madeira Development got it right. It took not once, not twice, but how they say 3 times is a charm. Yesterday, the city of Brownsville did have its meeting, and one of the things on the agenda was the Madeira Development Company, Espiritu Santo. And again, who can forget how the voters rejected Madeira Developments and their quest to try and bring a theater to the local area, to the city of Brownsville. We have seen how, city of San Benito, Harlingen, they do have their own, in their own sense, a form of theater entertainment center. Well, Madeira finally scored the home run. They were on the agenda to be approved for TIRZ, the tax increment reinvestment zone, which kind of is a tax, but kind of isn't. But who can forget that at one time, they had the big idea of having this theater and having this investment of half a $1,000,000 off the North Expressway, off the expressway of North Brownsville, and how this would bring a lot of development and would increase the city's taxable entities and would be an overall win-win situation for both the city, county, and also the residents here locally. Again, this was rejected by the voters twice. But the main idea that we can all agree on is that Madeira got what it wanted. Now, Madeira at the beginning had big goals, as we all do. They say in life, you got to aim for the home run. They saw the county as their opportunity to try and make that dream into reality. Once it did not go to their favor, they had Plan B lined up with the city. The original idea was for Madeira Development to be incorporated, to be assisted in some sort of way with the city. They, saw dollar signs and the possibility of having the county on a bigger scale create a theater, a little mini stadium, so to speak, which would even increase their value by, let's say, a couple million, or possibly even in the hundreds of millions in revenue, in values, and things like that. Well, the Madeira Development did secure a victory for them. The city of Brownsville did pass several agenda items that were placed yesterday for the tax increment reinvestment zoning, and also creating the Madeira Espiritu Santo Management District. And one could imagine, it is going to be on us taxpayers eventually to maintain this. And there was a presentation done, and it was interesting to note how this is now going to be a subdivision, a development project where they were going to be able to tax those over 2,000 homes to be able to maintain and fund, whether that be the maintenance and other important necessities that a new district, a new development area would need. But one begs the question, is this going to be beneficial for the city of Brownsville? Is this something to where if I have big money and I have all the right connections, I can make this happen? And again, this is a project of over $100 million. This is going to be something big. And we will be seeing how this slowly plays out. But once again, the interesting thing is Madeira. Madeira struck out twice with the county, but now they got the go-ahead from the city. How does that affect the local taxes? Those individuals that live in the northern part of Brownsville, will they be seeing an increase? Again, as we all know, whenever there is an investment of large amounts such as this, it is going to generally impact the local area. So Madeira did get to go through to have this management district created by the city, and this is the beginning steps for them to be able to create a housing development there. So we will be seeing a lot of movement and new buildings up in the northern part of Brownsville. También que IBAS, Elon Musk. Ever since 2013, 2014, we have been slowly monitoring and seeing the situation unfold before our very eyes here in our backyard. And while many individuals are torn, such as I am, with this SpaceX coming into town, we can all agree. We feel as if money always cures it all. They say winning cures it all. But money, if you have money, hey, you can't be that sad if you have money, right? Nonetheless, SpaceX is here to stay. As of late, the FAA did release its finding, which found that SpaceX does not present any significant, does not possess any potential damage to the local environment and to our local ecosystem. Now, while that made us scratch our heads and say, well, it does affect our local residents and our habitat. Now, there are those that say, hey, when is the last time you've ever seen an ocelot there? I was like, well, yeah, but we've been seeing a lot of movement, a lot of noise and sounds on many from that area. So, of course, no one's going to, none of these ocelots will show up. But the question remains, what's going to happen when SpaceX is this launching site to Mars? How will this affect? How will this affect us here locally? And we finally got word of the intentions. Now, this is something that we all knew. You know, it's kind of like that that inevitable where it's coming, but we don't want it to come. But then when it comes, we're like, oh my God, it's here. Well, we did get a word that SpaceX is considering expanding the exclusion zone for their first launch site from which was originally 5 miles, which is in the yellow, to 6 to 7 miles, which is in the red and black. Now, you may say, hey, it's 2 miles. What is, how much danger does that present? Well, from this map right here, if you look at it, this goes into Mexico. Also, the Queen Isabella Causeway. Also, the residence for PI. Now, can you imagine if we are at a standstill for Elon Musk and his launching sites because they're extending the exclusion zone where you can't be in this proximity because we don't know what's going to happen, and for the fear of an explosion. We started off the show with a rocket that was launched, which blew up. Now, again, I am just like you. I am torn. I do want the city of Brownsville to boom, to have that economic, to be that economic jewel where You know, we have seen lately businesses come left and right, but are we doing it at the cost of our beach? And I know your argument, Frankie. ¿Cuándo ibas a la beach? When's the last time you went to Boca Chica Beach? I understand your argument, but at the same time, should we be given our natural resource that is in our own backyard for potentially, you know, having catastrophic events happen that will ultimately see the consequences and repercussions, not for a couple of years, but for generations? Call that radiation, call that affecting our local ecosystem, our local wildlife, our residents who can't come and go. But it's interesting to note what's going to happen is Elon Musk going to help hold us hostage, not just the city of Brownsville, but Port Isabel, South Padre Island, those on the beach. How will this affect our tourism? And before I continue, you know, I'm on Minnesota. There is word, and again, I listen and I read and I talk to just about everybody. And the word right now is that Elon Musk is going to buy everything from the airport towards Boca Chica. So you're talking about El Jardín area. All that. Why? Because he wants to make it his. And what happens whenever again, is a public, it's a public road that leads to a public beach. I understand that, Frank. Hey, Frank, you're getting ahead of yourself. But the idea, ladies and gentlemen, the idea is that Elon Musk is going to buy the property going from El Jardín to Boca Chica Beach. Why? Because eventually all that is going to be his. Again, the FAA just gave the clearance, the thumbs up for SpaceX to start the process of potentially launching these rockets. Now, are we set to lose our public beach because of a trillionaire, a possible trillionaire? You know, he's playing with his toys. Also, the city, the commissioners court, they did hold a hearing where it was for open comments. Again, it was during the day, but we do applaud our county commissioners for extending it for 2 weeks. They do want to give a lot more people time to be able to have their say. So in 2 weeks, we will have a better idea of where and when, you know, individuals could go and be vocal about this situation. Because as of right now, ladies and gentlemen, Elon Musk has us right where he wants us. And again, we are all in favor of SpaceX and space exploration. I see the need for it as powerful as the United States is, for it not, before Elon Musk, for it not to really concentrate on space exploration, kind of set us back years. Now, we do understand the importance of it, but again, are we giving up our natural resource for Elon Musk? We did get word that now they're asking individuals, what kind of insurance do you have? What kind of liability? What coverage do you have? And now they are extending that radius that is going to affect not only the city of Brownsville, but South Padre Island, Port Isabel, and its surrounding areas. What's going to happen if, say, and God forbid, an accident should happen? And again, the radiation, the vibration, the waves, they could be felt from 5 to 7 miles. What's going to happen if something catastrophic happens with those Raptor engines and it affects the livelihoods of us, and not just in the now, but for many generations to come? And that, my friends, is the rest of the story. Business owners, if you're not using TikTok, you're missing out. The youth, the culture, the vibes is all on TikTok. It is an entertainment platform. If you are not using it to attract a new clientele, you are missing out on big, big bucks. Make sure you download TikTok, check out some videos, and make sure you produce content as much as possible and be your own promoter. That is a great way for you to market yourself and your brand moving forward. What else do we talk about? Forgot. Uvalde. The first pictures from Uvalde shows us that everything the law enforcement officials on site said was false. Again, I am not here to poke fingers. It is easy to play money quarterback, especially on the line of fire. You know, who's to say that we won't blink under pressure? But yesterday, the Texas Department of Public Safety director did say that the man in charge was a complete failure and an embarrassment. Why? Because his men were equipped with shields, high assault rifles. They were prepared to take on the active shooter, and he chose to hold his men back because he feared for their safety. Madeira development, the tax increment reinvestment zone, did pass on the city agenda yesterday. These are the beginning steps of Madeira creating a housing development in North Brownsville that should be receiving an investment of over $360 million. How will that affect your tax dollars? Will you be monitoring your statement soon? I know you will. And también que IBAS Elon Musk. Now it seems as if the world's richest man has us hostage, not only the city of Brownsville, but Port Isabel, Sa Padre Island, and its surrounding areas. But again, what can he tell to a businessman who seems as if he just gives out money, and his politicians and the local leaders here don't say a peep? Why? Because who dare goes against the world's richest man? Not I, Captain. That, my friends, is the rest of the story. It is Wednesday, June 22nd, 7:33 a.m. This is Good Morning Brownsville. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Hope you all have a good hump day. Hope to see you all here on Friday. God bless.